we must have agreed a president for Africa, a foreign minister for Africa, a defense minister for Africa, African Central Bank, as Professor Fahimi was saying, all of these things. All of us are here in this hall, says Colonel Gaddafi. Why don't we take these decisions? And in Zoom, he offered her, he said, and that's my foreign minister. She is going to be the foreign minister of Africa. So that was his idea. There was a hot debate. And what it resolved itself into was, yes, we agreed to the concept of a United States of Africa. The challenge is, how do you get there? And Colonel Gaddafi said, we can take a decision here in Accra and implement it. But the majority said no. That might be desirable, but it's too ambitious. It's not going to happen. Better to come at it from below. Rather than impose the United States of Africa, let it develop from below. In the SADC region, a regional parliament in ECOWAS in West Africa. And then when those two regions meet, or these regions meet, they are meeting, you begin the process of going towards the United States of Africa. The only difference was how to get there. The difference was not the desirability. And I'm sure that sentiment remains. What the principal was saying, again, I'm coming back to this, that we share a common destiny. The best form, the best way to achieve that destiny together as quickly as possible is via that United States. But clearly, I think the majority of the continent was correct to say, you can't impose it. It's got to come from below, because part of what you've got to do, the president of South Africa coming out of Accra must report to the South African population that the sentiment on the continent is that we must have a United States of Africa. What do you South Africans think? So that is not an exclusive matter of the political leaders. The population must be involved.
I think that Thabo Mbeki is a very successful politician. And I also think that on this particular thing, all of them really betrayed Muammar Gaddafi. I have told you a story before, right? That when NATO and Obama were invading Libya, and when NATO put a no-flight zone all over Libya, the Libyan airspace, a few presidents from Africa wanted to visit Libya. I think they wanted to go there to kind of like persuade Muammar Gaddafi to step down and maybe go on exile. I think that was the whole mission. The person narrating this story was the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. And he said that they were in an helicopter trying to get to Libya. And on the way to Libya, they were told by NATO not to proceed with that flight. And according to NATO, there was a no-flight zone over the airspaces of Libya. And what did the leaders do? They turned their plane around, they went home, and they ate and they slept. And when he was narrating this horrible story, you know what happened? Most people who were sitting at the United Nations and at the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, were just laughing. They were just laughing as if it was funny. This was something very, very disturbing. This was something very, very regrettable. This was something that it was shameful. And politicians thought to themselves that their only contribution to the issue was to laugh. To them, it was funny. And I was really, really disappointed. It really hit me personally because I thought to myself, how spineless can you so-called leaders of Africa be? How hopeless can you guys be? How useless can you guys be? How can you guys sit back and watch an African leader being dragged into the street, being harassed, being killed by Westerners, and all you guys could do was to sit back and laugh? What was funny in the story he was narrating? What was so funny about it? I did not find anything funny about what he was saying. If there's anything I gather from it, it was that African leaders are spineless. They have no backbone at all. That was the only thing I gathered from what Yoweri Museveni was saying. But to some Africans or to some politicians, it was funny. Now, let me address what Thabo Mbeki said in this video about Gaddafi's vision for Africa. Gaddafi was one of those leaders who had a clear vision for Africa. He realizes that the only way Africa becomes strong, the only way Africa can defend itself is by uniting. If we have a united Africa, we can defend ourselves. If we could speak in one voice, we could have a strong voice. 54, 55 smaller nations cannot do a thing. But if we unite and speak in one voice, our voice is loud and it will accomplish a lot. He understood that and he had the resources to bankroll that. He had the resources. And that was the reason they took him out. Now, most leaders in Africa, especially in West and Central Africa, do not serve the interests of their people. They do not. And if Thabo Mbeki thought that the reason they couldn't come up with an African Union or African unity or a united Africa was because leaders at the conference in Ghana had to report to their people. Are those people in Central and West Africa being reported to? Like, do those people have a saying? I don't think so. I don't think so. The reason why those leaders rejected Muammar Gaddafi's vision for Africa had nothing to do with the people of Africa or the common Africans in the street. It had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with the politicians and their own power and their own selfishness and their own greediness. That is it. The people had nothing to do with this. If there's one thing I've realized in Africa is that whenever there is something that should benefit common people, that would be for the greater good of Africans as a whole, our politicians hardly ever agree. Ask yourself, we have been singing about having a common passport for Africans for how long now? 20 years? 30 years? We have been dancing around the whole concept of a continental free trade agreement for how long now? We've never done anything about it. No, we've not. These are things that will benefit Africans as a whole. Just imagine if 54 countries in Africa could have a free trade agreement among themselves. They could have a free movement of goods and persons among themselves. A continent of 1.4, 1.5 billion people could trade within themselves, could come up with a common currency for trading. Can you imagine how prosperous the continent as a whole will be? Can you imagine about that? Can you even begin to imagine that? But no, our leaders do not serve our interests. They are not serving on our behalf. They don't even care if we eat or we sleep. They really don't care. All they care is about themselves. And that is the truth. So, whenever someone comes and tells you that the reason they did not buy into Gaddafi's vision for Africa was because they wanted it to start from the grassroots and then just grow to the top. Whenever someone tells you that, just call out their BS right there. They are lying to you. It was never about that. Never ever.